Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with another BuckIQ talking about Ohio State hoops. We've got Terence Dials, former standout there for the Buckeyes in the post, and Terence, there's just no other way around it. What the Buckeyes did on Thursday night against Illinois, that is one that's going to sting. It's a little bit costly, and it's a long season. There's still enough games to make up for it, but that's one that could really hurt the Buckeyes come Selection Sunday.
Come Selection Sunday, that'll be one of the games that we look back at and like, if they miss it, it's like that might have been the game that kind of turned it around. When you lose to a sub-500 team at home, it's always going to be consequences.
And part of that, you're not going to assign blame to just one guy. That's a team loss. I keep looking at this team, though, and wondering, we've talked about Luther Muhammad stepping up. There was games where Dwayne Washington did. The guy that I keep looking to and waiting for is Keyshawn Woods. There was a lot of expectation, maybe too much, I don't know, for a grad transfer with experience scoring the basketball that he could come in and really help in the backcourt. It just hasn't seemed to connect.
Well, you gotta realize he's playing under a different system than he's been previously playing for the last 4 years awake. Different teammates, very young teammates,
right.
And it's just hard for him to kind of get acclimated. I'm seeing he's had some bright spots, but we need more consistency out of him.
Yeah, the bright spots and the low parts, that's both part of Keyshawn Woods' game recently. Ohio State's going to need more from him and everybody else Sunday at Michigan State. Another opportunity there for the Buckeyes to get things going, build that tournament resume. We know what happened the first time in Columbus, but that's a big opportunity there.
Well, you shoot yourself in the foot when you lose to Illinois at home, and then you have to go to one of the toughest places in the Big Ten to play on the road. So, I know Coach Holtman is, trying to rally the troops together and get them going, but it's going to be tough.
We'll see where Keyshawn Woods can keep building and where he needs to improve as the Buckeyes go on the road to take on the Spartans, so let's roll the tape. All right, Terence, you look at this, and we've talked about Keyshawn Woods and that experience scoring and playing in the ACC. He can do it. He's a confident shooter a lot in some games. He's just not that way all the time.
Well, you got to get good shot. You got to get good shots. I mean, and this is obviously, anytime you get a wide open shot, you should be able to knock that down. Which he did.
I think this is an example too. Like, Caleb, when he is in prime locations and good spots, he can make good decisions, and he needs help, right? It's going to help him get the ball back later if you have Keyshawn Woods making these shots.
This is any type of zone is going to be a shooter's dream, and obviously they're playing a 2-3 zone right here. He finds himself open in the corner, which is one of the most difficult passes to make right here in the corner, and Caleb was able to make that.
One thing you can say about Keyshawn Woods is that even when he's been having some off nights, or he keeps shooting. I mean, the guy is confident in his abilities, and he's done it enough in other games where you know that he can do it.
Great shooters shoot the ball, and I wasn't a great shooter, but I was always told you can't make it unless you shoot it, and obviously he has that mentality. That's
another play even there that involves Caleb and coming off the dribble a little bit. I mean, that's.
No, this was an impressive play, obviously, from Caleb. You have to respect his three-point shooting ability now, and that opens up the drives for him.
This is a team that, and we've talked about it all year, Terence, they need the secondary scorers, and it doesn't even have to be the same guy every time, but we said it right off the top. There was an expectation that this kind of performance that Keyshawn had against Rutgers was going to be maybe more common than it's been.
Well, you kind of expected that, having a 4-year career in the ACC, going against the likes of Duke and North Carolina. You would think he would come here and kind of lead this young group in the backcourt, especially in the scoring department. But things have changed. Obviously, a different scoring system, different teammates, and he's just having a tough time acclimating to that.
It's partly too, maybe, and we'll get to this when we get later on here in his clips, but C.J. Jackson's playing out of position. Keyshawn Woods seems to be at times playing out of position, and late in that loss to Illinois, he was doing a lot of the primary ball handling, and that just doesn't seem to suit his skills.
No, he needs to be coming off screens, shooting shooting fades and curl screens and things like that. I think that's where he's better suited, but with the lack of depth we have in the backcourt, he's going to be called upon to handle the ball some.
And some of these shots he's getting, I mean, I look at this and sometimes I see Ohio State just stagnant, standing around on offense. And I'm not going to pick on Chris Holtman. I think he's a tremendous coach. There's been people asking about, the rough patches. The Dispatch had a podcast that addressed his, future.
Yeah.
He's absolutely the right coach. And Adam Jardy said the same thing.
Yeah.
He should be the head coach. But I sometimes see this and I'm wondering, how is this what you decide to do on offense?
Well, obviously, you see everybody is stagnant, and there are certain players who are very good in a one-on-one situation. We had one in attendance last night in Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb, baits D up, but he's not there anymore, and we don't have anybody who can go and create on their own. This needs to be an offense where everyone touches the ball and we get an open shot, good screens and things like that. This is obviously not in his wheelhouse. One dribble pull-ups with defender in your face.
Yeah, there's not really, Luther Muhammad has had some success with that recently, but that's probably not what Ohio State or Chris Holtmann wants ideally to be running for anybody on this team.
Normally in a college system, you only have one, maybe two guys, unless you're a Duke or North Carolina, you have a bevy of guys who can do that, but most of the guys in college are, system players, and they rely on that system, and when you break it down, this is what you get. You get bad shots.
This one he actually wound up, in a good matchup and had a decent look at the rim, and it just doesn't go down. Sometimes that happens. You're not going to pick on a guy for that, but it's a key situation, and he's a guy they need to make those shots.
I think that was a great shot. Obviously, you get the switch right here. You get a big guy on you. You have two options. Take the big guy or make sure you get Caleb the ball when you have a shorter guy guarding him.
Yeah, I know that you're probably more upset that this didn't finish down here in the post rather than what happened there with Keyshawn.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the jump shot, but definitely got to finish this. It should be an and one right here. This is again goes back to conditioning. You got to be able to explode.
You look, and then down the stretch, Ohio State had let this game get away early. There were a lot of reasons for that, and then just to focus on this play, maybe it's not fair to Keyshawn, but this was the last chance. And this was the kind of play they got. Again, it goes back to maybe him playing out of position and handling the ball too much.
Well, it goes back to, like I told you earlier, decisions. Players, we're playing the game. You have to be able to make good decisions. And obviously, turnovers have been our Achilles heel the whole season.
Right.
And nothing changed last night. We turned the ball over way too much. And in critical situations like this, you definitely can't turn the ball over.
Another opportunity for Ohio State to try and get that issue corrected, get Keyshawn Woods back on track, maybe scoring the basketball. It's a big ask on Sunday at Michigan State, but it's one that Ohio State needs. We're going to be breaking that down, of course, with Terence Dials next time when he comes back to Lettermen Row. We appreciate having him. For Terence, I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time on BuckIQ.